Hey guys, Megan here with Reach Right. Today we are going to be talking about Google Business Profile optimization for your church. Reason this is important is because using your Google My Business account is imperative to staying visible online. And it helps increase your rank when people are looking for a church in your area. So when people go to Google and they're looking for church in my area, Baptist church near me, your Google My Business account can help lead them your way so that they potentially walk in the door and become members. Most businesses and organizations may already have a Google My Business account. Maybe someone set that up for you a long time ago. Maybe it's being managed ongoing, but today we're just going to do a walkthrough to show you what that optimization really means and why each of those areas within that account are important. So let's get started. All right, if you're watching this video, you probably already have a Google My Business account. If you don't, that is pretty easy to set up, but we're not gonna go over that in this video. We're gonna talk about optimizing an account you already have. So this is what a Google My Business account looks like if you haven't seen one before. It contains a lot of information that a potential visitor is going to want to know even before they go to your website. It's got links to your website, to Google Maps, and to call you directly from here. And this keeps track of analytics, so we can actually see who is going to your website, how many visits you got, which is pretty interesting. It shows our business hours, our phone numbers. We can add updates. People can ask questions. It shows us our reviews, and we can link our social media. So the reason this account is so important is this is the front face of your business for people that don't know you exist. So let's talk about each aspect of an account and why those things are important. I am already a manager of this account, so this is why this looks a little different. If you're not a manager, you're not going to see this information here. You literally would just see the box, and then you would see all of the organic search results like this on this side. But because we're a manager, we can go in and see all of our areas to edit. So, and it kind of, Google does want to help you out. It does want to help you utilize this tool because so many things involved in this tool do help your rank. So, when you go through this, you can see your profile strength either go from poor to good. You can kind of see that starts to increase as you go through this. So for this specific account, if you were going to go in and optimize, we're going to just go to edit profile, and we're going to just go down the list of all of the options here. So this is pretty simple. Our business name. Now, when we are adding our business name in here, it does need to match your website. If you are, you don't want to really try to keyword optimize your name because Google's going to know that. So if your name, if your church name is 614 Church, that's what you're going to have on your Google My Business name. You're not going to want to put 614 Christian Church or change it to something different. Biggest things with Google too is consistency. We want to make sure that things that are on our website that we show are the same that we're putting into our Google My Business account. So make sure if your name is such and such Christian church or First Baptist Church of whatever city, that you write that out. We don't want to say First Baptist Church of Austin, Texas on our Google My Business, but then on our website call ourselves FBC. So again, consistency is going to be key. All right, so our church name, let's just make sure that matches again. So that's pretty simple. Your business category, we're just gonna go down the list here. Your business category, why is this important? So Google takes a lot of factors into consideration with your ranking. Your primary category is the only one that is going to be most relevant. That one does hold all of the weight. So there are a lot of options for a church. As you can see, we've got non-denominational, Christian, evangelical, there's Baptist, there's Lutheran, there's everybody. So you can kind of go in here, you can see the options that you have are kind of endless. So again, the primary one we're going to be choosing is the one that you want to be known for the most. So I would say, I mean, there's Christian church in here and there's just church. So a lot of times I would take your denomination and make that your primary category. If you don't have a denomination, or let's say we want to go with Christian church, or we want to be generic and just cover them all and say we're just a church, that should be your primary category. And then you can add all the other ones below. So again, just make sure you're putting more weight on that primary category, because that affects Google Maps, that affects your local finder rankings. This will be the one that's more important for you. So add as many as you want, click save, and then we're just gonna go on down. All right, your business description. This is more about maybe something that you would find on your about page. This has no effect in your ranking. So you do not need to keyword fill this description. If you write all sorts of stuff and just try to be keyword rich in here, it has no effect. So don't waste your time. A lot of times when we're setting this up for a client, we are going to go either on their homepage. We'll see a little welcome blurb that we can take. Now, you're maxed out at 750 characters on your Google My Business account, but we can trim some of that. Or we would go maybe to their about page and just copy this paragraph here. You really just want an introduction, right, of who you guys are, what information someone needs to have. You don't need to necessarily put your service times. That's going to be down below. So don't waste your characters if you want some more space. Your opening date, we can skip that. That doesn't really matter. Then we get down to the phone number. Now, Google does make changes sometimes to your profile. If you have a Google phone number, it might see that a side number was used more. So make sure this stuff stays correct. I often have to get into accounts just to make sure that those edits didn't happen. But for this church, the primary number is this one. So we're just making that switch. All right, now we're getting to the website portion. This page is usually going to be your home page. This is obviously where most of your traffic gets sent. All of your major content is here that leads within your website. The only suggestion I would have where you wouldn't want to lean on your homepage for that link is if you had multiple campuses. If you have campuses in different locations, or you meet at different locations, technically on your website, you should be reflecting that as well, right? You would have a landing page for each of those different campuses and a Google My Business profile account for each of those campuses. So for instance, if we were using this church as the example of locations, it would be 614church.org/South Austin. And then they would have a /North Austin page. They would also then have a Google My Business, 614 Church Austin campus, 614 Church South Austin campus. The reason that's important is because the target page that we're sending that to is going to contain all of those rich keywords that we want Google to tag us for. So if we're trying to target South Austin or a certain part of your city where that campus is located, then that page needs to link there. So that would really be the only example of why you would never, or why you would again link to anywhere else other than your homepage, is if you have multiple campuses. Otherwise, homepage only. That does talk about who you guys are. Now, Google just added this where you can add your social profile. So you can add you'll see here all of your options. You can add your Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Pinterest, and TikTok. So add all those in if you want to, because then they will show up at the bottom where people can easily just go visit your social media pages. Your location. This part is pretty important, obviously, so people can easily find you, but it's also going to be important in the way that we write this out. For instance, this church is at 95 West 5th Avenue. West is typed out, Avenue is not. This needs to be consistent across all platforms. So if we went back to their website, we would want to make sure that this is the same. So here on their website, they have West not filled out. So for this client, I would either say they need to change their website to where this is spelled out. That's a little easier than changing your Google My Business location, even though it's just a simple spelling. Google's going to flag this potentially because it doesn't match. And especially with your name, address, and phone number, your NAP listings, as those are called, they all need to match. So we'll get this taken care of, but like for perfect example of making sure when we optimize something, it's those little things that are going to make a difference. So make sure if you spell out street and then on your website, it's not ST, all of those things need to be right. So This is obviously attached to the Google Map. Now, if you were, let's say, if you're a church that meets in another location, like a school or a movie theater, it can be a little trickier because Google is probably going to have a Google My Business account for that movie theater, right? So let's say you're meeting at the Regal movie theater in Columbus, Ohio. That place probably already has a Google My Business account, so the address is already registered. Google eventually will be smart enough and it will list that you meet inside. For example, this church here meets inside the Regal Cinema in Dublin, California. So it shows here that they are located in the Regal Hacienda Crossings, which then also, if I click this, it's gonna take me to the Regal's Google My Business account. So there's a little bit more of a verification process when it comes to this because Google's trying to prove that you do meet in there, you have permission to do so. You may have to do a video verification, but once it picks up that you are meeting somewhere else, this is kind of nice that it does say you are located within the Hyatt Regency or wherever you're meeting. All right, business hours. These are obviously important, right? We don't want people showing up when we're not there. Because you're a church, most churches are going to meet Saturdays or Sundays, so it's imperative to show what time your service times are. If you have several service times, you could break this up to say we meet, from 9 to, you can make intervals here. You could say 9 to, let's say 10:30 a.m. and then 10:45 to noon. So that is an option to kind of show that, hey, our service times are not, from 9 to 1. You're not going to be here all day, but we do have breakup service times. And then, of course, if you have office hours, if someone is able to answer the phone, you would definitely want to put when those times are available. Now, if you meet in another location, let's say for a church, for instance, if we go back to this account, you'll notice that they obviously are closed every day but Sunday. This is going to vary between church to church, whether or not you have an office where someone answers the phone. You would want to put that you're open. If you do not, you would want to put that you're closed. Sometimes too, this could just be phone hours. Let's say that you don't technically have a secretary or somebody that's sitting at a desk at the office. You still could put that you are open Monday through Friday or whatever days that person would be available to answer the phone, just so that it doesn't look like we're only open on Sundays. But again, that's going to be up to you. There are people that you're going to get phone calls, you're potentially going to get messages. I wouldn't say with the type of business that a church is, most of the time, someone's not just going to drop in and go visit, except on your service time. So that's going to be the difference between a church account and like a regular business account. We usually can skip the special hours. This would probably have to do with holidays. It's going to ask you usually, let's say Christmas Eve, it'll probably send you a message that says, hey, are your business hours different for this holiday? You can come in here and edit those if you want to. Accessibility. This can be important to some of your visitors if you do meet somewhere else or if they haven't been to your building. So you can take a look at all of the things here that would be applicable to your church and check yes or no. Amenities, I usually leave off. This, of course, is talking about things you can say here. So if those apply to you, great. Parking, some people want to know where do I park? If this applies to your church, you can add this in there. That's pretty much it. So this is going to be how you get all of your information set up. Now, I do want to show you over here. Photos. Photos are very important. As you can see here, this is the cover photo for this church. It is the church sanctuary. This is a really nice picture. I can get a good view of what the church looks like. Here's the church building on the outside. So if I'm driving by, I'd be able to say, oh, hey, I recognize that because I looked that up. Now, if you take a peek in here, you can have as many photos in here as you want. You as the account owner can come in here and add photos, of course. And you're really going to want to pick high quality photos so that we are giving a good look at what our church looks like. There's videos in here that have been added. Customers or visitors can also add photos. So sometimes those can be not as representative as we want to. So the more that and you can't choose those. So if someone puts a bad picture up here of your church or just not the best photo, you can't remove it unless it's against Google's policies for pictures, but you can kind of flood those out by adding more of your own. So it is important, I think, to kind of keep this the photo gallery in here up to date. Sometimes we'll get in here and they may have really great pictures, but they're 7 years old. And while that still shows what the church looks like, obviously by the time I'm looking at those pictures, I can see when those were updated or uploaded. And I may think, well, gosh, no one's getting in here. I wonder if this place still looks like this. So I'd say every couple of months or once a month, you hop in here, drop in a quick photo or two just from your social media. Again, it just helps give a good reflection visually of what someone can expect when they arrive. You can obviously choose your photos here. So you can drop them in. Your cover photo, again, is that main one here. This is the cover photo. Now, Google sometimes will choose that for you. Let's say that you've set it to something that you like. Google might find a better picture that reflects what your church is or what your business is for them, or, a picture that's gotten more views. Google might change it on their own, and that's fine. They're just trying to help. Your logo as well. You'll want to put your logo here because, of course, that's just branding. We want visualization for our church. All right, so there are a couple things here. You'll notice, like right when you pop in, you obviously see our hot buttons here. Reviews. I can't express enough how much reviews help or hurt your local rankings. Now, as a church, you might think, well, how am I supposed to get reviews? Or that's kind of weird to ask for reviews. I may agree with you, but I can't tell you enough how much a Google review helps you or hurts you. There are some really big churches that either don't have any reviews. They might have a handful when they should have hundreds, and it shows in their local rank. You might have a really tiny church in the middle of nowhere that have several hundred reviews. They might be doing really well on local SEO, and that could be the factor. So knowing that you as a church or a business owner can help yourself by asking for reviews is one of the things that I'm going to push you to do. That's important. When we first start out doing a local SEO management for a client, we will say, you guys need some reviews. Let's focus on the internal part of your church. Everybody on staff, you can send this link out to your staff members. Now, Google's trying to make it very easy. It shows you reviews here. It's saying, do you want to get more reviews? You click this link right here, you copy it. When someone clicks on that, it takes them directly to your Google My Business review pop. So it's going to show right here. It brings my account up. I can easily pop in, give 5 stars. With Google, you do not have to write a description like Yelp or Yahoo. You can just pop in 5 stars, post it. Obviously, the more information that you have, the better. So if someone does want to write, hey, this church is amazing. We've been going here for years. Our family loves it. The kids ministry is great, blah, blah, blah. Wonderful. They can even add photos or videos here, which, just makes the review even more visual, but it's not required. So if you literally send this link to somebody, this could take them less than 30 seconds to do, which is why it's just such a simple ask. If you don't ask, you won't get them, that's for sure. All right, so for reviews, you can start by asking all of your staff members, whether you have 2 staff members or 50. Send them all that link and let them know, hey, we want to be found online. Let's pop in there and do that. Next month, let's try to focus on if you have an elder board, a leadership board, any ministry leaders that you can think of. Next month after that, let's go to small group leaders. If you guys have 2 small groups that meet or 50 over the city, send them to your small group leaders. Then let's focus on small group members. You can kind of just go down the list of where are all the groups of people that you would feel comfortable asking. Now, some churches will end up finding a way to work this into their assimilation process. So again, this is not something required for you to do, but if Google's going to tell us that it's going to help your rankings, that it's going to help you increase your local rankings, that it's going to boost your Google My Business profile clicks, then why wouldn't you do that? You definitely should try if you can. Now, of course, not everyone's going to do it that you ask for, but again, these are such a good way to help yourself that you should try. Now, let's say you're starting to get reviews in. People are doing what you're asking. Great. Now we have to reply to those reviews. Review reply is just as important as the actual review itself. Think about this. I go to a restaurant. I leave a great review. I say everything was wonderful. It obviously gives that restaurant a boost because it's saying, hey, this person's recommending my business. the restaurant owner is going to hopefully go in there and say, thanks for taking the time to do that. Same goes with a negative review. As uncomfortable as those might be, almost every client we've worked with gets a negative review of some sort, whether it's valid or not. Google is going to look at those as well and wonder, as a business, why didn't you go respond? Or, they would just want to make sure that if somebody is taking the time to either 1-star you or 5-star you, that you as a business owner are going in there and acknowledging that review. Now, if you're a manager on your account, you will see in here under business or people and access, anyone who is in your account that's listed as a manager or an owner, as long as they set their notifications and leave those on, anytime someone leaves a review, you will actually get a notification. You'll get an email that says, hey, Megan, you got a new review for blah, blah, blah for your account. It even has a link where you can click to go reply to that review. You're gonna wanna respond within that account. So just like here, it's going to take you directly here where you're gonna wanna do just like this client has done here. Thanks to their review. Now these, like I said, this client is doing a very good job of responding to all of those reviews. If you have old reviews that someone hasn't responded to, get in there and respond. Again, Google's looking at that and your account may not be shown as much as you need it or think it's going to be because you haven't done that. All right, one last thing that you can turn on in here is messages. Messages is a way that if someone doesn't want to call you, or let's say you're a church that doesn't have a phone line for someone to call, you can turn on messaging, which acts more like an SMS or a text message, so that if they have a question they want to ask, they might they haven't gone to your website yet, or they kind of want to know some information before they visit, or maybe they visited and they want to ask some questions, but it's not face-to-face, so they feel more comfortable. They might pop in here and ask a question. It's going to send you an alert, just like they review. Hey, Megan, you received a new message for your Google My Business account. You pop in here, it's a message. Now, the cool thing about this is that if you have other people that are managing your account, when they go to answer those questions or answer those messages or reply to reviews, they are replying as your business. So obviously, like I'm logged in right now under my Gmail account, but when I pop into this account, because I'm the manager, I am replying as this client. So that's pretty nice knowing that if you've got someone managing that you're like, hey, we get several messages, or I don't want to be the only one responsible. Let's all pitch in and help out. When someone goes to respond, they're not responding as themselves. So they're responding as the business, which is convenient. So really, once you kind of get all of those things set, you've got your photos, you've got all your business hours, any changes you make, or even in your initial setup, they're going to go under review. Google kind of holds that potentially for 10 minutes up to 48 hours. It kind of depends on how quickly it refreshes the system. But you do want to pop into this account occasionally, because like we saw, Google might change your cover photo on its own. It might update your business hours. Somebody might make a new suggestion. And if you didn't get in there to say, no, that's not our new business hours, or no, this is not where we're located, then Google might change it on its own. So hop in here on a regular basis and make sure you're taking a peek at that. One other thing that you can use are updates. These are pretty awesome because you'll see here, this has a little alert, update your customers. What this means is there are 3 types of updates. There are events, latest updates, and offers. So most of the time for a church, like your update, you can make a graphic if you've got some announcement that you want to make. Some of our clients and churches that I've seen have used this if they're doing a sermon series, which is pretty cool. They'll put their sermon graphic here. They'll write a description. Hey, we're going through the book of Mark for the next 4 weeks. And then you can either add a button, which would lead back to your website. So you could say like, learn more, and lead this back to your sermon page where they can listen to those sermons. You can kind of think outside the box here of how you can use this. I've also seen clients use that for if service got canceled due to weather, they can pop a graphic in here just to say, hey, small groups registration is starting, VBS happening this June. You can also do an event. So this way, if you use an event, it'll actually turn off whenever the event end date shows. So this is kind of on a timed, which is even more convenient. You don't have to pop back in here to shut it down. So let's say you've got a marriage conference that you want to promote. You can put that graphic in here, write the title, the start date, the end date. Here's some of your event details. And again, sign up now. Lita, put that button link, put that URL back to your website where they're being sent there. Reason that looks pretty cool, again, down here, you're just gonna see a big graphic. You're gonna see that information and it looks pretty nice. Hopefully this was super helpful, an easy guide to getting that account optimized. And hopefully over time, you should see your local rankings boost little by little. SEO is something that does take time. And if you'd like to learn more about that, hop over to our website. We'd love to help you. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.